Hello everyone, thank you so much for watching us. My name is Nina Mapson Bone, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm here today with Gil Lorquet from the North Foundation. Gil is the CEO there and has very kindly offered to have a chat to me today about the work they do and the relationship they have with us at Beaumont People. So I might just start by passing to you, Gil, to maybe just tell us a little bit about the North Foundation and what you do there.
Yeah, sure. Thanks very much, Nina. It's great to be here. Look, the North Foundation is proud to be the registered charity for the Northern Sydney Local Health District. So, which it sounds like a mouthful, but essentially we serve as the fundraising partner for various hospitals within the district, which include the Royal North Shore Hospital, Ryde and Hornsby Coringa hospitals, and also the medical research unit, which is based on campus, which is called the Colling Institute. So our mission is really to improve community wellbeing by supporting innovative health research and essentially the delivery of exceptional patient care.
Wow, great. Really important work that you're doing there. And I know in terms of the relationship we have, it's really quite astounding, some of the things that you help with. So good on you for making such a difference, Gil. And again, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today about your relationship with us. So maybe I'll start just by asking you, what is your relationship with Beaumont People?
Right. Well, yeah, look, it takes me way back because I, like probably a lot of fundraisers, I didn't actually start in fundraising or not-for-profits. It wasn't, I can't, hand on heart, can't tell you that it was always my dream to begin my career there. I've come from quite a varied background. So I was a lawyer previously, and so I studied law and marketing at university. So I've actually delved into both domains, and probably over sort of 10, 15 years ago, I started thinking, actually, I want to start a volunteer. So I started to volunteer for a number of charities. One of the first few charities I volunteered for was a cancer charity, and a lot of fun on the weekends. And like a lot of people who love volunteering, you're really picking things that you're passionate about. And it was during that time when I was volunteering that I got to meet a CEO from a cancer charity, and he just started talking and asking questions of, what are you interested in and why you're involved. And I started talking, and he then immediately said, well, you should consider getting involved in the industry. And he actually recommended one of the first things I should do is probably meet with a few recruitment agencies and a few people that he suggested I speak with. So I don't know how I originally got the contact, but I think I did a bit of research, and it appeared that Beaumont were one of the ones that certainly should be speaking with. And one of the first persons I met, who I still have a great relationship now, was Janine Birch. And she was one of the consultants there at Beaumont there. And what my purpose at the time was really to establish whether I had the transferable skills, really. And the thing I loved about Janine's approach, and really since then I've met so many people from Beaumont, including yourself, is the passion that you'll display with your role, and also you'll really have a purpose for being there. It's not just a role or a job or paying the bills. It's really a passion to get people in great roles. And Janine certainly in me the confidence to go after roles in the not-for-profit sector. So I immediately experienced the wonderful support and proactive approach that certainly has been instilled on a number of consultants I've dealt with ever since. So that was an immediate impact, and I'm glad to say it's been a long journey since then.
I just heard earlier, didn't realise before, that was back in 2005. So
yeah, it was a long time ago. Long time. Look, it's a while back. But I was, and I think since then, the beauty there, when I look back and I think about the journey, and I had to sort of think back of all the organisations I've been a part of since. So Beaumont for me has been part of probably 3 organisations for over about, trying to count now, about 8 roles.
Wow.
Variety of roles, temporary, part-time, full-time roles, from fundraising roles to senior philanthropy manager roles. So they've actually been, quite and I've since then been my preferred, I'd say definitely preferred recruitment firm to use.
Well, thank you. And obviously in your role now as CEO, I believe the services you use us more for the kind of the hiring services and the recruiting of people. What's your experience been like there, Gil?
Yeah, look, I think for me, and I've some people say I'm pretty picky when it comes to selecting service providers. I think for me, what makes any recruiter or recruitment firm special is for me, and again coming back to key skills, but they have to be active listeners and really display or demonstrate proactiveness. And I'm saying it just from pure experience with Beaumont. Certainly, all your recruiters actually must be trained in that because they've got all skills, quite polished skills in not only communication skills, which again you'd expect that from most recruitment firms. But having worked with a number of recruitment firms, even for being placed for various roles, I've had mixed results over the years, and I can say though with Beaumont, it's been quite consistent, and the communication skills I think is key there. No matter what the position I've been trying to fill, they've always had I guess the key link between either my organisation and the candidate, and I found it's always been quite encouraging to feel that you have your number of applicants already there. You've pre-qualified that we can potentially reach in a short term, or if it needs to be researched and advertised, there's that sort of role as well. And they've been quite clear in their communication from the word go, which is terrific. Another one, which again, a lot of what we all do, relationship building is a big one. So I think for me, my experience with Beaumont is definitely that they're great at relationship building, certainly great at maintaining and securing that relationship between a candidate and an organisation, especially the not-for-profit, which is quite competitive, as you know. And I think when I look back, I always look back on the relationships that I've had with recruiters, and also the value that's been added. I can certainly say that Beaumont's been very proactive and been able to really add value. And what I mean by that, it's actually not having to worry about all the different parts of the recruitment process, which at times, unfortunately, get missed. And I find, again, for me, I've been on automatic pilot most of the time. If I've signed off on something, I find that the candidates come through. Obviously, we call them, we interview them, but all the other bits are pretty much secured. We don't have to worry about asking key questions. For instance, have you booked any holidays? That's been a nightmare in the past for me. When I've tried to book secure someone, I find out they haven't been asked a question from another recruiter, which it can be quite frustrating. So I think just having that confidence that you can have the great service, but also the right candidates are definitely chosen, especially in this very specific field.
Well, that's great to hear, Gil. We do put some time and effort into it, so it's nice to see that you're experiencing that as well. Let's turn now to the recent times and what's happened with COVID. How has COVID impacted the North Foundation, and specifically around your hiring plans? What has the impact been there?
Yeah, that's a challenge, and I think like you and I, we've been on a lot of Zoom calls and webinars, including your own webinars. I know you've done some great webinars there, but look, I think for us, it's we've had to pause. Like the reality is, like a lot of organisations, you can't continue to do business as usual. For any organisation to adjust and to pivot, really, you've got to remain flexible, agile, and being able to adjust your plan. So we've had to do that, and unfortunately, we were planning on expanding on a number of roles, which when COVID-19 hit, it appears that they were at risk. So we had to adjust, unfortunately. Having said that, I think going forward, we've had to really review our strategy, which is good. I think it's healthy, being able to take a more strategic approach to it and looking at recruiting for areas, I think over the next few months, definitely of less risk at the moment, but also roles that will have an opportunity to thrive over the coming year or so.
That's interesting. I'm hearing a lot of leaders say that it's actually making them almost rethink their strategy, which in some ways is a good thing. It's really making them think about what that looks like. So it's great to hear you say that. You touched on the webinars there. Out of interest, is there as we've gone through this, is there anything you've seen Beaumont do that has been, that you've been involved in or found particularly helpful as we've gone through COVID-19?
Yeah, look, I'm outside of work. I do a lot of mentoring, and I've also involved in a number of a particular men's group, for instance, that we get together once a month, and where we talk about how we're going, and covering obviously things like this, whether it be COVID, the stresses of work and life, really. I think with your lead mentoring program, again, observing from a distance, I think it's really appreciative seeing the videos, and I'm always a big fan of video footage and short snippets, and I've certainly seen that following the Beaumont's not only LinkedIn page and receiving the emails. That's been great, I think, and also, which I mentioned to you earlier, I loved seeing the testimonies from even your clients or your actual people that you've actually placed or have potential to be placed. I think at this point there's so much noise going on. I think having to see someone quickly for 20 seconds, let's say, on a video, or getting some tips that you're providing at the moment on best practice. And I think for me, Beaumont's always been, for me, definitely, because I've built those relationships over the years, quick check-in on what are the trends, what are the key roles that we should be looking at. And certainly that's where I've sort of relied on Beaumont in a number of your video content, but also your emails that have been coming through, which is terrific. And I must add as well, having been part of the FIA, Fundraising Institute of Australia, for a number of years, I know Beaumont's been a terrific sponsor for me, and also host a number of the seminars which I've attended on the premises, which we hope to do again soon. But definitely what I do really enjoy and rely on really is your experience on the recruitment side of not-for-profits, which again, there are only, I'd say, in Australia, there aren't too many experts that can really highlight what are the key trends in Australia in recruitment. And that's terrific, yeah.
Thank you. That's just fabulous feedback to hear. So I guess my final question for you is, as we're seeing restrictions ease and we're seeing some of the things coming back a little bit, I guess what do you anticipate our relationship being going forward? How important will we be in terms of helping you as we come through that process?
Yeah, again, I think it's the guidance and expertise, really, and I can't stress that anymore. And I have certainly referred you on to a number of people, even friends who have, like me, many years ago, wanted to transfer over to the not-for-profit industry. I've recommended Beaumont. I think your guidance and expertise is second to none, and definitely, as I said, trends on temporary staff, for example. I know recently your focus on temporary staff and what's happening there, what's hot in the non-for-profit space at the moment, I think that's invaluable. So I think for me, definitely the support required there is probably touching base to understand what's happening and as guiding our decision-making. And I'm sure other not-for-profits to say, actually, this is the time to invest, not withdraw. So that's definitely going to be crucial, having that open communication with Beaumont.
Right. Well, listen, Gil, I can't tell you how much it means to us to have you talk to us about this. It's great to know that these are the way you're feeling, because we put a lot of time and effort. We want to, I think you're aware, we talk about placing people first, and we talk about connecting people with meaningful work. And we know that, COVID has impacted our ability, your ability, lots of people's ability to do that. But, the one thing we wanted to kind of keep going with is ensuring that where we can keep contributing to our communities in that way. So it really means an awful lot to me that you feel that way. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing that with us today. Really appreciate the time that you've taken.
Terrific. And look forward to seeing you in person soon.
Yes, hopefully sooner rather than later. Thanks so much, Gil. Thanks.
Thank you.